Do. And you're live.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the next episode of Sexistential Crisis, the podcast where we are really talking about helping women embrace their bodies, embrace their sexuality, have amazing relationships, and it's also for the men who love them or actually want to date them. Because I've actually found there's a lot of men who listen to this show. I actually think there's more men than women. I think they're trying to get some insight into, like, the woman's mind or something. I don't know. But it's kind of cool.
Or they just want to hear you talk about sex.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, that's actually probably it. They're probably just
They're probably
like
just
masturbating.
perverts. Yeah, that's what let's be real.
Well, because through my own...
Is your average listening time between like 5 and 7 minutes?
There's like a sudden drop off. Where'd they go?
This is boring. They're not talking about sex graphically.
Right. Or I've just come. I need 20 minutes to
Right.
recover. And then it picks up again.
Right.
And you're like,
Exactly.
oh, interesting. Okay.
Sandwich, some Gatorade. All right, I'm back. Yeah.
Yeah, and take two. And I've started like in my like Tindering and OkCupiding and all this stuff. I have listed that I have a podcast, so men always ask me about it, and I feel like I'm gaining listenership, one failed dating experiment at a time.
It works.
Absolutely. Well, you know the reasons why I'm single, girls.
Is that what they do?
That's absolutely. I mean, Chelsea's very upfront about the show and what she does and all that stuff, and she does. She's had guys that have said before we dated or before we went on a date, I went and listened to your show because I wanted to know what I was getting into.
Yes,
so to speak.
Well, if they're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, any of the guys that I have dated have listened to the show in advance of me, usually in advance or by like the second date of meeting me, and I think it's a great idea because to me it's like if you don't like this persona, I mean this is not my whole personality. This is just a persona we play on the air, but it is me. If you don't like that, like, don't fucking date me.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
It's not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. I don't think so. So this episode, we are talking about one of my favorite topics. This was specially requested by our audience that we discuss dating red flags. And I could not think of anyone better to bring on the show but my dating co-conspirator, Amanda Brewington. Amanda is a recovering entrepreneur turned loan officer that sometimes plays a comedian when presented with a microphone. And here we are. So
like a microphone.
Show up, bitch. All right. You can catch her at Comfort Zone at Trixie's Bar in Hamtramck on September 20th. And you also appear at other events with Comfort Zone as well.
Yes.
So you can follow them to find
Definitely.
future dates, and you're fucking hilarious. And girl, I have heard some of your stories. They make me blush.
That's
And that is hard.
That is such a compliment. I'm so excited to hear that
Skeptical
happens.
Dave is skeptical.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see. I got an hour to impress him. All right. Let's go. All right.
And go.
And we're on. All right.
All right. So I have to say, I just have to really speak specifically about this, and then we can pull out and talk more generally.
Totally.
I am not dating another fucking foot fetishist. That is my red flag. That is my number one. I'm done. I just auto red flag it out. There's a guy on Tinder right now who he just has photos of women's feet with painted toenails with bunions. And he is looking for somebody who has bunions to fulfill his foot fetish fantasy.
What is that? Is that like a grandma thing or like a
know
hardworking
how
woman
you
thing?
get that.
Or like what
I don't know.
causes bunions?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I don't understand foot fetishes, but if I ever have to hear the words, I can only come while fucking you with your toes in my mouth, I'm going to vomit.
Jeez. Okay.
Someone told me that on a first date.
Wow.
I feel like that's something you hold back. Like that's
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
a
an
line.
early that's not an early card to play.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's not a pawn. That's more of a bishop, maybe a knight. Like that's not an opening
Just-
move.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Well,
Come
like
on.
I have a friend, her boyfriend from, I don't know, a million years ago. She didn't learn this at first, but this is like about holding back. She learned after about a year or so that he was a fart fetishist.
What?
Yes.
Oh,
And he
man.
wanted to talk about farting. He wanted to have her fart during sex. He wanted to describe the the gastrointestinal discomfort of farting to
Wow.
get off.
I feel like if he's into that, he should just like hung outside like a GI center, like where people are getting like scoped for issues. Like he should have just been like, "Hey, how's it going?" Like, fine.
They're coming out with colonoscopies.
Yeah,
He's
like,
I'm
so
here.
how's Crohn's disease working out? Like something like that. Like I don't know. I just feel like would have been his people. I don't.
Those would have been. I know. Yeah, he should have specified that in his dating profile.
because there are people with the
I
problems.
only date people with IBS.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
I mean,
just
I know
get out
some
of my way.
people that would be like really, that's their life, and they'd be okay. And I mean, maybe they don't.
Well,
wanna
there's
talk about
someone
it.
for everyone.
Exactly.
So
it's a lot of people on this.
who
this
knew there
rack,
was a
so
foot fetishist? I can't even.
you
I
know.
can't.
I can't.
I just them and the foot fetishist. Just
I learned about dollification
what the hell does that
not
mean?
too long ago.
Dollification.
So apparently it's a subset of a subset of a subset. Like it's a niche within a niche within a niche of BDSM. Where
Okay.
so it's because and I was at Tangent Gallery
Oh, God.
for an event exactly because if
Here we go.
if
This is where you would learn about this.
Yes.
strap on your helmets, kid. It's gonna be a rough ride. So yeah, and I'm sitting at the bar, and there were when I was walking around, it was a Comic-Con of all things
Oh,
that was
okay.
there.
Okay.
And when I had taken a lap, there was a woman behind one of the booths who was very clearly made up to look like a doll.
Okay.
And so a little bit later, like a couple drinks later, I'm at the bar, and she and another girl come walking out, and they're both made it. And I was like, look, and it had nothing to do with what they were there selling. Like they had a comic, the comic was cool, but like this was just their look. And so I'm like,
Oh,
all right,
yeah,
so
you
what?
know.
I feel I'm like,
Like,
okay,
did they look like the girls from The Shining?
no. I mean, like
Okay.
the big rouge circles,
Oh, like
and
Raggedy
the
Ann and Andy,
freckles,
kinda.
like
Yeah.
very, very like, and then the other one was like all alabastered out.
Did it look attractive?
Uh,
Like, I mean, in a kind of art
no,
sense?
to me, no, I didn't get it. So
Okay.
I was like, okay, look, I need to understand this. I will buy drinks as long as you are sitting. Cause you've seen me. I will buy drinks as long as you are sitting here explaining this to me. Go. And they're
Okay.
like, well, and the one girl was like, oh, we were both really into dollification. I'm like, okay, much like I've never heard of this. What is this? So dollification is like a branch off of being a sub, where your sir or your whatever
Dom.
is a maker,
A
and,
doll maker.
and your maker makes you.
Wow, it's like a Pinocchio
and
thing.
dresses you, or Pygmalion, or
Yeah,
So, and it's
like-
very like, but I'm okay. Like I'm still in. I'm still
You're
okay.
following this.
I'm still
Okay.
because they're
Okay.
both attractive girls. I'm like, tell me more. Tell me
Okay,
more.
yes.
But here's the kick. They don't move. They don't react. They don't make noise. They don't do anything during sex. They are effectively a sex doll.
Oh, that's fucked up.
Well,
I
when
mean,
you-
I fully support it, but that's still fucked up.
Yeah, well,
what?
when you said it, I pictured like, are you familiar with the movie like Lars and the Real Girl?
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling. Like that's what I pictured because like that's with him and the sex doll, but it's like his girlfriend. If anyone listening hasn't seen that movie, I really like
I
that
haven't
movie.
seen that movie.
And I tell people about it, and they're like, "You like that movie?" Yes, I do. I like that movie. Anyway,
Okay, well,
it's good.
I mean,
it's a heartwarming movie.
But I
actually.
can't even imagine not moving during sex.
See, that's why
I just
Yeah.
can't even imagine that
So
being pleasurable.
Here's where the conversation got deeper, because then I was like, all right, well, but one, how,
Right.
and two, why.
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's the curious part.
yeah, and so then the one was just like, hey, so it's almost kind of a power trip, because when I'm not reacting, when I'm not doing anything, it makes whoever I'm with try harder. I'm like, well, then that's not really being a sub, because now you're trying to take control of what's
Isn't that
going
like
on.
topping from the bottom?
That's
I
yeah.
don't know.
Like it was like
Yeah.
it just so that's
Okay.
So now so there's my red flag.
Oh, that is a
Dollification.
red flag.
Oh,
That is
yeah,
it.
definitely.
Dollification.
I told you that
Stays
story
red
to tell
flag.
you that one. That's, yeah.
That's the one red flag. I'm not
No,
sure. Okay,
no, I
just
have-
making
I
sure.
have, I have a box.
All right,
That I
okay,
posted,
good.
that I posted on her wall. I have a box full.
That was hilarious. Amanda, do you have like an immediate, like sort of sexual red flag?
It's fairly like not too long ago. I went on Match.com and it was because I hadn't been on anything that you pay for yet. I
Mhm.
was very
Like, is the quality better?
well. So all my married friends were like, you know, you get what you pay for. Maybe if you paid for something, and I'm like, that's not accurate. I mean, like porn's fine if you don't pay for it. Like, what do you mean? I don't know. Like, I didn't really.
Porn still works.
Yeah,
and it's free.
It's
Yeah.
free. I look at the internet, but lots of things on the internet are free. But they were like, no, maybe if you pay for it, the quality will improve.
Okay.
They thought that, and so I did it as kind of a
Right.
test.
I'm curious.
Yeah, and so I matched with this guy, and like right out the gate, it was, well, you know, I've done porn before, and I was like, that. And in my head, and this is where women, and we'll get into this, we can dive into this, but it's like, in my head, as a accepting woman, I was like, first, did I mishear that? Did he just say that?
Like you,
Well, I was,
you beeped a horn before?
yeah, I was like, what? Horn? What? And then I thought, and then immediately my second thought was, okay, is he just saying that to be like, I've got a big penis, or like, I've got, you know, I'm good in
Right.
bed, like what?
I'm like, do you have AIDS?
Yeah, what?
That's my first question.
Okay.
Literally, I'm
Yeah.
like, what's wrong? Like,
Yeah.
I can't touch. I'm sorry.
Fair.
No offense to people who have any
Life happens.
Yeah,
Got it. But
whatever happens, but like,
Yeah.
like I wouldn't lead with that. I don't think.
yeah, and
lead
so
with that.
well, so I in my head was like, okay, I'm just gonna let it pass. Like okay, just started talking to this guy, and mentions it out the gate, and I think I'm just gonna pass. I'm gonna keep talking to him, and maybe I misheard it, maybe whatever.
Right.
But then it like
No,
we finally met up. Like after talking for like a day and a half, we did meet up, and out the gate, he's sitting across just like you are now from the table with me, and he's like, "What are you into? And what are your kinks?" And I was
This
like,
is literally the question I also just asked you, so I'm kind
Yeah.
of almost.
Well,
I'm
it was
sort of scared. What
it was literally
how
like
this parallels.
yeah, well, we're getting there. So he out the gate, like the waitress takes my drink order, walks away, and he's like, "What are you in? What are your kinks? Mine are." Dun, dun, just starts naming them off, and I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, well, maybe you should watch more porn. And I'm like, well, hi, 5 minutes in, 5 minutes in. So what I'm saying is my red flag is like oversharing sexually. Like
Yeah, from the get go.
if the waitress is just I don't even have a drink yet. She just took my order, and you're
Right.
asking me what kinks I'm into.
well, yeah.
What are you doing?
I
What?
mean, it's clear
Calm
to me
down.
that's someone who just wants sex.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so when you said, you know, his opener was I was into porn, I was waiting for, so he picked me up, and we stopped at a gas station, and right before the tank was full, he pulled it out and sprayed it all over the back of the trunk of the car, just trying to prove a point, something like that. I was like,
Exactly. It was actually just like it was like in that movie, and the guys are dancing at the gas station in Zoolander. Right? I don't know. But that for me, it's the oversharing. Like, and I'm bad. I'm an oversharer, like to a fault, especially like when I'm comfortable or like I'm around friends. I probably definitely an oversharing person. But when you just meet somebody, like pull it in, just pull it in a little bit, so that I can like. Where'd you grow up? Not what kinks are you into? Like I don't.
Well,
you know,
that's not first date material.
did you have a happy childhood?
yeah, I mean,
What do you do?
yeah, like he did not know what
You
I
know
did for a
what?
job.
Okay.
He wanted to know what I did in
How
the
do you
bedroom.
feel about duct tape and shibari rope?
Yeah, I mean,
I got it in the trunk. If we need to go explore, I can do that.
Yeah.
All right. So I've got to tell you about this book. I've really been influenced by it, probably in a very bad way.
uh-oh.
Probably.
Knowing you, I say, well,
Yeah, watch out. It's the Steve Harvey book. And I'm not even a fan of Steve Harvey.
He's such a character.
But it is this book, Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man.
I've seen this book before.
Okay, I
Yep.
read it for our last episode, which was on how to understand what men are thinking.
Okay.
And he had some advice in there for women on dating. And, you know, he's very reductive. Like, it's
Okay.
very much like, you know, we've kind of gone back 100 years in time.
Oh, well, before
Listen-
you tell me what he says, I want to
Yeah.
say, in my mind, hearing this is what Steve Harvey says, like, I already feel like you're going to mansplain something to me, like I'm a moron, because I feel like he talks to everybody like they're 5, and I don't. That's not what I'm about. So please,
Let me explain what dating is.
oh gosh,
In
here we
case you
go.
haven't heard
Thank you
about dating yet.
Steve.
Really helpful. Okay, so Steve Harvey says these are the first date questions you should ask. They're
Top 5 answers on the board. Show me.
Oh no. My mom loves game shows. I will tell her to listen to this part.
right. And if the man cannot answer any of these adequately or sufficiently or like, you know, with ease,
Mm-hmm.
he always says one word: run.
Run.
Immediately, run. He
Run.
just says run. So, first question. You know, and women always get accused of making dates like a fucking FBI interrogation, but just listen to these. What are your short-term goals?
Okay.
Tell me,
Okay.
or I'm running. Okay.
That's a little bit much.
Hang on. We're not even. What are your long-term goals? Steve also says that if their short-term goals are the same as their long-term goals, to also run.
Fair.
Because then
That's fair.
they don't really know what they want.
I can't believe I'm slightly agreeing with Steve Harvey right now, but I am, and I'm just going to own it.
Just keep running. Okay, third question. What are your views on relationships? And then he wants you to ask, what's your relationship like with your mother? What's your relationship like with your father? Tell me about your previous relationships. Okay, I cannot imagine
On a first date.
on a first date going through all of that and actually expecting them to tell you the truth.
See, and I would possibly be the funniest person, at least from my perspective. Hey, what's your relationship with your mom? She died when I was 16. Oh, what about your dad? Died when I was 22. Next. Like
Right. You're
Right.
like, oh shit.
Right.
Steve, what do I do in this case?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is he asking you, like, is the woman supposed to ask the man this, or is the woman supposed to reciprocate answers? That's what I'm
Yes,
curious.
I
Okay.
think she is.
Okay.
He expects women to have their shit together.
Okay. Got it.
But these are the questions a woman really needs to ask of a man on a first date. Okay, then he says, like, after a few dates, to ask, what do you think about me? And that the man should be able to give you a clear point of view on what he thinks about you. And if he can't, or if it's like really generic and he can't extrapolate on it, or, add more depth or color than just like the basic things anyone would say,
Right.
run.
If
I
he's
mean,
like,
of course.
you have brown hair and
Right.
you wear glasses.
I think you're cute.
You're fun sometimes. Like that. That's
And
not.
then they'll be like, well, what do you think's cute about me?
Yeah.
What do you
yeah.
like?
Dig
Really
deeper. Okay.
Keep digging. Keep
Okay.
digging that hole. And then he says, after a month, to ask, how do you feel about me?
Oh wow. Okay.
And if a man cannot tell you how he feels about you after a month of dating, it's because he doesn't feel anything for you.
Oh wow. Isn't that hard, Steve Harvey?
Steve, well,
Dang.
Dave, what do you think about that?
shut up, Steve.
Can you imagine?
No, I mean
No.
that sounds completely accurate. I mean,
Does it really?
No, dude. So like there's the whole running shtick about it. A woman knows within 30 seconds if she's gonna sleep with you or not. Dude, guys know.
They do know.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, guys, we totally know like whether you're a weekend in a hotel material or you're like, hey, maybe a fun week in Mardi Gras
Right,
Gras
sure.
material, or hey, I'm gonna wife this one up.
Yeah.
Like we
How soon do you know that?
typically pretty early on.
Like in the
it's-
first month?
Oh, easy.
Really?
Oh, easy. Like I've never had a long-term relationship sneak up on me.
Okay.
Okay.
Interesting.
And when have
I'm
you?
taking all this in.
Yeah, I know. We're listening
There's so much
very
history I'm going
carefully.
through in my mind right now.
And
like,
When did you tell them, I want to be exclusive with you, or I want to? Did you tell them?
Some no, and some of those are the the great regrets of life.
Because you lost them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and some and then either it blew up in my face, or it was great.
Okay.
yeah, interesting. There's so much I'm learning just sitting here, just taking it in.
I
Yeah.
do think people know.
Yeah.
You absolutely do. Like that's why so that's why like it's so funny like because we like guys we sit around and we call each other out on this shit. It's one of those, hey man, so what's going on with? Well, I don't know, dude. Fuck you. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, you know.
Like it's like, are we gonna see her again? Like you
Yeah.
brought her to Bob's Christmas party,
Right.
and you made us all pretend like we knew who she was.
But maybe they're just nervous to express that to you.
That could be, but we're gonna bust your balls until you do.
Yeah.
So you might as well just cave early.
Yeah.
Well, so that. Yeah, there's like so many. I should get like my notepad out, but I won't because
This is therapy.
I am gonna go there, right? So my therapist, says like relationships are the only thing where humans will like, you see a burning building, you run away. But if you're in a relationship and it's a burning building, you're gonna be like, well, maybe I have water in my car. Like you're gonna think about it and how you can like mold it and change it. And when she said that, it was not too long ago. She was like, you know yourself, you know what you want, humans. Gut reaction, and it's so true. It's
you
so,
do know. It's really interesting. So, because we were talking before the last show went on, Dave asked me about this person that I'm dating right now, and I'm actually really, well, I'm just going to answer it. I'm really, I'm hesitant to say it on the air because it's nerve wracking. This person's going to listen to it, right?
Right.
So you're always like, ooh, like I don't want to talk about my relationship on the air, but. It's really interesting because this guy feels really different.
Okay.
Like really, really different than,
the past.
The years of
those who have come before.
Right.
All
There we go.
all the prior nightmares of my dating life.
Yeah.
And so it feels really special. And I'm like, I wonder if he feels that way. I wonder if like it feels different for him.
But here's kind of and I feel like we need a new name for this trump card.
I think it's hilarious.
That you have doing this podcast. So he listens.
Yeah.
Well, if he listens to the last episode and wants to correct the assertion that came forth in that episode, let him do so.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Why did you think it? No, it's not just that. It's
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I guess
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, because that leads to like my next question. Like, if your gut, 30 seconds, 2 dates, whatever it is, why do we always? And I'm like talking this bigger like human race, but like, why do we always play our card, like keep our cards
close to our vest,
close to the vest every time?
So okay. So I want to talk about this because I'm trying to do things differently.
Okay.
There is this book I've been reading called Radical Honesty.
Okay, it's not by Steve Harvey, just to be
It
clear,
is
right?
not by Steve Harvey.
Just want to make sure it's not another book by Steve Harvey that
Please.
you're quoting.
Guys, I read the Steve Harvey book.
It's actually by Stephen Hawking. It's all about free radicals.
Got it.
I read the Steve Harvey book, so you don't have to. Okay.
Thanks for taking one for the team.
service.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Please, you don't need to read the Steve Harvey book. The last 2 episodes will tell you everything you need to know from that book. And he talks. This is written by a psychologist, and he talks about this whole idea of how we have learned from a very young age to lie.
Yeah.
And that we continue to lie because we don't want to hurt people. We think we'll embarrass them. We think we'll be hurt. And he then, sort of outlines these steps. I actually want to do a whole episode on it because I think it's really powerful. But I am trying to not lie.
Yeah.
And to just like say, okay, this is actually how I feel right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can't control their reaction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I can just be honest. And then we can actually kind of like, I feel like either race to the finish in terms of saying, you know what, I'm not really that into it. Or I think this is just fun on the weekends.
Yeah.
And then okay, that's where I stand with them. Or they could even say, you know what, I kind of feel similarly.
Yeah.
And I'm into, and then you're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
thank you for not wasting my time.
Yes.
And, continuing in this. So I'm kind of in between that and not wanting to like squash like a little flower that's buds are opening.
Because again, the male ego is fragile.
The male ego is fragile. It is fragile.
Yeah.
Back to red flags.
Okay. I like how we're not. Yeah.
Yeah,
back to the
we're a
notes.
little
We're all
off
over,
topic.
but it's okay. I
We're
feel
a
like
little off topic.
we're still offering some kind of entertainment advice / whatever. Yeah.
Well, I hope people are getting something out of this.
Yeah.
If you can't handle some conversational rambling, that's a red flag.
Yeah,
Also
fuck
true.
off.
Yes. Also
Or as
true.
I like to call them, random synaptic misfires.
Okay, I like that.
That's how my head works.
I like
Random Okay, here's an actual red flag in first dating. I usually do ask we'll usually ask in the first date or the first couple dates about an ex. I'll be like, oh, so how
Yeah.
long have you been single for?
Mm-hmm.
Sure, that's normal.
I think that's a very normal question.
Because it's not like they were waiting for you. The answer would be like, I never dated anyone. Like, hello,
I'm
we're
a
in our
virgin.
30s. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Like,
So I will usually ask that, and then I'll kind of see how they respond,
okay.
and then I'll sort of ask like, oh, so what happened with your girlfriend, or you want to,
Yeah.
sort of just leave it open for them to respond, and then you'll either notice them say things like, well, she was really crazy. And immediately when I hear that a woman is crazy, I'm like, nope. She wasn't crazy when you started dating her for 3 years.
Yep.
Like, why is she crazy now?
That's not always true.
Okay.
Because, I mean, the crazy hot
All right.
Venn diagram,
I'm gonna.
there is a certain allure to crazy.
Well, also, I'm gonna amend that. Like, I find crazy to be a very lazy term for a woman.
Well, it's
like,
just how women are often,
like, she's
women who are
emotional.
disagreeable or they don't get along with, they're often described as
yeah, was
crazy.
she strong-willed?
Yeah.
Was she strong-willed? Was she, you know what I mean? Because when people, oh, she's crazy. What does that mean? Like,
Yeah,
like
what does
actually, like
that
she should be
mean?
committed, or like she's just
Like,
strong-willed,
was it like
or
the burning bed?
yeah, like what level?
Was it when she boiled the rabbit?
Yeah.
Or leading up to
Yeah.
that? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I'd agree with that. That
Yeah.
it is kind of it is a lazy
think
generic
it
term.
is.
It is lazy.
I do. I just
And I just don't think it reflects well. Like, tell me, describe the behavior. What
Yes.
do you mean?
what caused whatever it is.
Like I, for example, had an ex that I've done the math. She poured somewhere between 5 and 7 gallons of gasoline into my 110-gallon tropical fish tank.
What?
And like that wouldn't have killed my fish fast enough. She lit it on fire.
Come on.
That's a little crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is a little that's a little crazy.
That's a little crazy. I want a different word for that. Almost like that's a nightmare. That's like, what are you
Is
doing?
that a felony?
Like, yeah, I feel like
Is that what's
There's
danger?
We'll have this conversation at some point. I will even reserve this story to tell on your show at some point, because the punchline to that story is not even that. The punchline to that story is when I'm living in D.C. 3 years later, and she calls me up at my office to ask me out.
No.
What?
Stop.
Okay,
She thought
well-
you like forgot about.
There's a teaser for a future episode.
So many
Okay,
questions.
God, okay.
All right.
Next episode, listen in.
Yes.
Here's the next thing. Okay, so disparage their exes. I don't like that. If you haven't learned
Yes.
from your last relationship, you're not ready to date me. And I'm talking about dating for people who are interested in having a relationship with someone.
Mhm.
I'm not talking about casual
Mm-hmm.
stuff. In that case, just go, do you like the way they look?
Yeah.
Go fuck
Do
them.
what you gotta do.
Yeah.
Right.
Do whatever you want. I'm talking about actually dating. If you're not over your ex, you're going to bring them into the relationship
Yes.
with me. And I don't want to deal with the ghost of your ex.
Yeah, and it shows how you deal with people. Like, I think how you deal with your exes, how you also may deal with like people in general and friends and family and stuff. Because like and this is me personal, maybe I'm a weirdo, but like I'm friends with I think almost all of my exes. Like, not like we hang out and grab drinks, like not buddies, but like if it didn't end perfectly wonderful, 6 months to a year later, there was some kind of like, hey, followed you on Instagram, we're cool, right? Like, yeah, we're cool. Like, I don't have any hard feelings.
So is it friendly or
friendly,
friends?
not
Friendly.
friends.
Yeah.
Friendly.
I mean, I think a couple of them I'm friends with, but I'd say overall, just friendly. It's peaceful.
Yes.
Peaceful is the word I would use. It's like, if I see them on the street, I'm going to say, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
And that's it. Like,
You're
I'm
not running to the other side of the street.
I'm not running to the other side of the street to hide, and I'm also not running at them like, hey, let's hang out tomorrow. Like, it's somewhere in the middle, right? And so when I date someone who isn't like that, where they have a lot of, oh, I hate that person, or oh no, they're dead to me, or whatever. Like, if they're like that, I'm kind of like, why? Like, what's going on with you?
Well,
Fish tank girl's dead to me.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
There we go. Okay. See, there's an example. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and I'm not saying maybe you don't
Dave
want to
has
be.
set a boundary.
Yes.
He's like, I will not engage with this bitch any longer.
Yep.
Well,
I'm into that.
So I don't talk to my ex-husband at all. We have
Okay.
not spoken in over a decade.
Okay.
And that's because
Ditto.
he was a fucking lunatic.
Okay.
And he really was.
Yeah.
He stalked me.
Okay.
He did some really terrible things that were very, very hurtful and were deceptive.
Okay. And that's
So,
different. I
In
think
that
that's totally
case,
different.
it's like, I don't need to be in your company.
right.
Now, with a couple of my ex-boyfriends, we are friendly.
Yeah.
Meaning, if I saw them, if I was in their town, I might say hi.
Sure.
Now, as I revealed prior to us taping, the guy who ghosted me after 4 months of dating is actually downstairs right now at the location where we are recording, and
So
I
you
just
can't find him because we're not going to tell you where that is. but I'm going to say, yeah.
She's been paranoid ever since that came up.
that's
She's been
hilarious.
waiting for me to walk
I
downstairs.
literally
She
been
is.
waiting for Dave to
When
go
you
down.
disappeared for a minute earlier, she thought that's where you went.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
She's terrified.
I'm like, oh god.
I think I saw him because you showed a picture of him to me before, and I was down there eating before we did this because I had skipped lunch, and I was like, oh, there's food here. And so I'm eating, and I'm looking at this one dude, and I'm like, he looks familiar, but I don't know that person. And I think that must be him because I was like, why do I? And I'm just eating, like, I don't care. Like, I'm doing the hand right now. Like, I'm just eating, and I'm like, I don't know that guy, whatever. But I think it's him, yeah. So I think I know exactly because I couldn't place why I knew him, and then when you said that, I was like, oh, that's the guy.
Now, that's a guy I would avoid. Like, I don't feel the need to reach out to you. I don't even feel the need to say hello to you.
Well,
he was a rude ass.
Yeah.
Like, that was just shit. That's being a shitty human being.
Right.
Yeah. I guess, so I'm going to push it a little further, even though you're the host of the show, but I'm going to push it a little further. So if you go down there after we're done and you walk out and he walks up to you, then what would you do?
If he approached me and he initiated a conversation, I would say hello.
Okay.
I will
think
not
that's
initiate
fair.
a conversation.
Got it. I think that's fair.
I was waiting for a climb Dave like a tree.
Run to the bathroom and cry.
No. Where's my man?
Right.
Dave!
See, I'm just picturing like my Aunt Kathy when I was a kid. I had a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and you know how they have like Chuck E. Cheese like is in a costume. Like there's the animatronic on stage, but there's also like a man in costume walking the floor, like saying hi to kids. Super creepy. But my Aunt Kathy has always been like kind of a cuter lady, and she was young, and so she's like hanging out with kids, and the Chuck E. Cheese guy is like following her around, like following her, and like keeps like being close and like walking by her and kind of grazing her, touching her, and she like ran to the bathroom. And so that's what I'm picturing would be your reaction, like Chuck E. Cheese and my Aunt Kathy. Oh, you're my Aunt Kathy, and he's Chuck E. Cheese, and like
and he's Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm running away.
That's what I pictured.
He's way too much of a coward to ever approach me.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I could not even imagine unless he literally ran into me.
Yeah, like bumped you, turned around
and hit me.
Let's just go down, start doing shots, and randomly yelling out answers.
Yeah, yes, that's what we should do.
All right, because I should say he's hosting trivia downstairs.
Yes.
I don't know if I said that. So, yeah, awkward.
No, I think
but
that's...
I think I do have to go downstairs to exit the building.
We can't actually.
So I can't actually rappel off the side of the building.
They would not allow me to install the bat pole.
Oh, okay. You don't have the thing
kind of
like Pink had when she was, what was that, the grand
No,
down the side of the wall? Nothing of that.
It's very, very sad.
Okay.
No, they could be there.
Yeah. So, well,
Tangent,
you know what?
Tangent. Sorry, that's me. I'm just
Listen.
tangent.
Random synaptic misfire,
Every
which I think
time.
would be a phenomenal name for a show.
Yeah.
Well, I think that might be the new name of the show.
I think it is the name of this show.
This
This episode, if nothing else. Yeah.
Red flag /
Random synaptic misfire.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Hey, maybe this will be a follow-up in our next episode because I do have to go down there and
report back.
yeah, we'll report back on what might have happened with Dave's drunken encouragement or Dave getting me drunk or I don't know.
Who knows?
We'll see. It'll be.
Oh man.
But you can't let people have power over you.
You
So
can't. No.
You just gotta do your thing. Okay. Does any side note, just unrelated, does anyone have a Xanax?
Not on me. Sorry. Sorry.
Klonopin? Anyone?
No.
Okay.
Baron Yeager.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, that would be helpful.
That would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Where are the shot glasses? We'll just do it up here.
That I don't need. I don't need a glass.
Okay.
Just
Fair.
Put it in my hole. All right.
And that's why guys listen to the show.
Exactly.
That right, just that.
They're
little-
going to take that
they're
sound
gonna-
bite.
that
Just
3
loop
seconds
it.
on loop.
Loop it.
Ben, I have video of that, so
Yeah.
that's
There
gonna be
you
the new,
go.
that's gonna be the new promo cut for your show, right
Put
there.
it in
That's-
my hole.
Slowly, she says it.
Yeah. Dave, why don't you I can't even say this on the air. I was gonna say it doesn't really apply to the drink, which is unfortunate. But I was gonna say you could just blow a load in me.
Okay, now we're just doing
We'll be
sound
back.
bites.
We'll be back in about 20. Knew I should have had those blinds installed up there.
Those people would never know what they were watching.
I just want to give. I want to give good. I want to give good masturbatory material.
There you go. You're doing it. I think you
So
are.
I feel,
Yeah.
what maybe that's how I build my listenership. Who
Yeah.
knows? All right. So other red flags, how they view the world. I actually do not care on a date. I told this story in an earlier episode where I was on a date with a guy and I was asking him about his life because we had a lot of commonalities.
Yeah.
And he told me about 20 or 30 minutes in that it was the second most invasive date he'd ever been on.
What?
I wanted to know why I wasn't the first.
Yeah.
But
You want to win, all right?
yeah, if I'm going to win anything. But I'm not really interested in. I'm not terribly interested in the music you listen to. I'm not terribly interested in the shows you watch. I'm not really like that stuff is going to change and evolve over time. I'm always trying to figure out like how you see the world, because your values. Well, you guys feel free to correct me, but your values are like what I'm looking for in a partner, not your hobbies or TV show interests.
Yeah, no, I agree with that to a point, because, and maybe this is, and I'm bad. I live with people when a lot of people that I've dated, I've like.
You just jump right in.
I'll just jump both feet. Like, let's see if this is gonna work.
Did
or
we talk
not.
about this in the last episode?
This is a deja vu moment. No,
Are you a hobosexual?
I'm not. Though there was a point when probably. Yeah, it was like my car, or I guess I can tolerate you. Yeah, there was a time like that. But anyway, no, like I was never married, but I always say I was almost married. And people are like, what does that mean? And I do like a lot of jokes about that. Like, oh, it's like Almost Famous, the movie, people don't, what does that mean? Kate Hudson, she's with this guy, he has a wife, so instead she almost ODs in a hotel room. Like that, I didn't have to do that to escape it, but it was similar. And it's not similar at all. It's sarcasm. That's a joke.
That's a joke, thanks.
But
okay.
Just want to make sure. No suicide jokes. Anyway, so the guy I was with was like 9 years. So we weren't married, but like, if
feels
the
like a
Michigan
marriage,
had common law, it would have been a thing.
Right.
So we met in a living situation. We were in a housing cooperative, and so like we each had our own room in a house, and that's where we met. And so then we dated. We moved out of the co-op together to an apartment, and then like several apartments later. And so I think about that, like maybe that's why I am cool with like living with people quickly, because it's like, well, that's my
your
norm.
formative experience,
right?
Exactly. So my 20s, I like lived with a dude for 9 years,
Wow.
So. Yeah, there they go.
How
By 20s, there they went with one man.
No, you made up for it.
I did. I hit 30 and it was like I was on Tinder like a job. Like I was just like, let's see how this works. Let's go. But that's the truth. And so I think for me, what they like, going back to what you were saying, what they listen to, what they like to watch on TV is important, because like if I'm cohabitating with them, I'm gonna have to watch or listen to whatever shit they're into, and I like maybe it's my patience.
But is it first date important?
Not first date, but it's like it's a gentle thing to talk about, because usually you're not like secretive about the music and things you watch, and so I feel like it's an easy gimme, like when you're on a date, like, oh, have you seen any movies lately, or what's the last concert you went
boring.
to? It's boring, but it's like, for me, I almost feel like it's like the stepping stone into getting into like something deeper, maybe like that little bit.
Dave,
of
what
I don't know. He's shaking his head. I don't think he agrees.
No. So like to me, I think that kind of gives you a window into who they are and what they do. I mean, it's like for me, like I used to annoy the hell out of my HR departments, because during job interviews, I'd say, okay, what's your favorite movie? Now give me your favorite quote from it.
Okay. Oh, I like
because
that.
not just don't give me some made up movie that you think is going to sound impressive. What's your favorite quote from it?
Yeah.
And then and again, a lot of times it's not even what the answer is. It's how you give the answer.
Yeah.
So hey, what are you watching? Right. Like what's in your Netflix queue? What's in your Hulu queue? Like what are you watching? When you're trying to fall asleep, what do you watch? And I think that gives you some insight and a little window into who they are and what they do. Like, dude. Okay. I answer that question. I'm like, okay, well, right now I'm binging through Chuck again, because that was one of the greatest shows on TV ever.
Okay.
Okay. Hi. Yeah, Dave's a giant raging geek. That is what it is.
Okay.
But I'm also like, I've got Futurama sitting there, and I've got old Miami Vice episodes. It's all right.
But Dave, I don't watch TV.
Okay.
So I don't understand these references.
Oh, see, there's that. So that's the thing with you, is you're not a TV. That's why it's not important to you, because you don't do it.
Right.
Piece of puzzle. Here you go. Got it.
Well,
that makes sense.
but then that's the thing. Like if they are overly enthusiastic about, here are the 37 shows that I watch every week.
Red flag.
Right.
Red flag.
That's
Yeah,
probably
red flag.
not
That's
for
your
you.
red flag. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that it does. Or like,
Yeah,
hey, what's
you're right.
music? Hey, I'm really into show tunes.
Yeah. I'm into musical theater. No. I have friends who are. I'm fine with that. But to date somebody, like, no,
I can't date any heavy metal people. I've
Okay.
actually learned that. I
used to
that
host a
music.
radio show after a metal show, or before a metal show, actually. So I'd like stay afterwards and hang out and listen to
Really?
metal, and that's how I know anything about metal, was that show.
I can't do it. It's too terrible.
Okay.
But yeah, so I guess maybe that's why, because I don't like literally the last show I watched, and you guys, I don't remember the name. Wild Country.
Oh,
Wild
yeah.
West Country.
Wild Country. The lady who does my hair told me about that.
This is Right. Okay.
Yeah. She told me about
Oh
it
my
and I was
God!
like,
Wait. Dave has not registered recognition of this, which
Oh,
scares me
no.
because
Because I'm a pop culture freak.
right. I'm really concerned
Oh,
that you have not.
no.
Okay, Dave and I, our first date just failed.
Yep.
Dave, if Dave and I were on a date right now, this would be going very poorly. Dave, this is a 6-part documentary that was done. I think called Wild Wild Country. It was done recounting this extraordinary true story of an Indian sect that bought a lot of land in Portland, or I'm sorry, in Oregon in the 80s.
Okay.
And they created a town, and a lot of crazy, unbelievable things happened.
Let's just cut to the chase. It's a sex cult. Anyway, that's what it is. At least that's what my hairdresser said. She was like, "Let me save you 6 whatever hours of your life." That's what it is. And she told me, and it was weird because she did, like, she's
I
kind
thought
of more
it was fascinating.
Yeah, well, so did she, and like she is more
So
of
now-
a like reformed person. So it was weird that she liked it. I was like, okay.
Let's start
So you
at the
don't
beginning.
watch documentaries?
No, what I'm watching right now is a really cool series on Netflix called I Am a Killer, which is the opening of the episode is an interview with someone on death row.
Oh.
Okay.
And then they go and they interview all of the people, however tangentially connected with that
Sure.
crime, and then they come back and they interview the
Oh.
person again.
Okay.
It's pretty friggin' fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
So yeah, no, I mean that kind of stuff. But yeah, so Indians, are we talking
From India.
casinos or call center?
Call center.
Okay.
Call center.
I was waiting for how you were going to do that. I'm like, oh,
No, they're
cringe.
from-
No, it's yeah.
Okay, good.
from India. They came over in the 80s with their spiritual leader.
Okay.
They bought a lot of land in Oregon, and they started to incorporate a town. And there was a lot of resistance to this by
Okay.
the yokels, who really,
Well, it's Oregon.
yeah,
Yeah.
who put up a huge fight, which caused these people to get involved in espionage, bombing, shootings,
Sweet.
Yeah.
poisoning. Like, yeah, they poisoned a village. It was
Yeah.
like it's a really crazy story. But anyway, that's the kind of stuff. So, as you can see,
So-
the sort of stuff I
Yeah, I mean,
watch.
I think it just shows that TV isn't important to you. Like, not that you don't watch
It's
it,
not
but
important.
it's not important to you. And so that's a
So
that's a
if it's
thing.
really important to them, it's probably going to be an issue.
Yeah, because I've gone on dates with people where it's like, yeah, let's watch TV at my house, and I'm like, that's not a date. Like, nobody
not
wants
a
to
date.
do that. Like, no.
Wait, have I been lied to about Netflix and chill? Like, is that?
I don't think I've ever Netflixed and chilled.
I did.
Really?
Okay, so I was 30, 31. I was in my early 30s, and the guy was like was like 25. So that only is 5 years. That would be fine now, but like. It was such a difference when I was
So you-
30,
Oh,
he was
absolutely,
25,
that's- yeah.
right? Because it's just
you just
life.
went over there and
So
what was
here's the
supposed to
best part.
happen?
Here's the best part. We met on Tinder. We went out to dinner, and then he was like, "Well, want to come back to my house?" And like he didn't say it like, "Want to come back to my house?" It was more like it was early, but we didn't have any other plans. And I was like, and I'm not stupid. Like it was in the queue, but like I don't know. I was like, well, let me.
Speaking of in your Netflix,
Yeah,
queue.
I was like, this could get Netflix and chill, but like I don't know if it will. So we go back, and he lives with his parents.
oh
still.
no.
Yeah. And so we did Netflix and chill.
Speaking of red
His
flags,
parents were in
Yeah.
the next room, and we totally
What?
Netflix and chilled. And I was like sneaking out, like climbing over a baby gate because they had like for a dog at like 30 and out of someone's parents' house. And I'm like, nope,
No.
nope.
this is not how I envision my life. No.
This
You're-
is not
you're
where I
too
wanna
old for
be.
that.
Yeah,
No,
nope.
absolutely not.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another red flag.
Here's a story.
Yeah, there's a story.
There's more to that one, but that's the
Oh,
part of it.
really?
Yeah.
Okay,
Anyway,
we'll have you back for
we'll
part two.
talk more about that later.
No drive or ambition. Like, where are you going? Kind of like
Yes.
Steve Harvey's question about like the short-term goals and long-term goals. I'm more interested in like, where is your life headed? Where do you
Yeah.
want to see it going? What
Yeah.
are you working towards? And if you're working towards like going home every day and just like sitting on the couch,
Yeah.
then I'm going about 400 miles faster than you. This is never going to work.
Right. No, I think that's true. I totally agree with that because it's like everyone's a work in progress. Like maybe you aren't
Of
exactly
course.
who you want to be, but like, are you headed towards it? Are you headed towards something remotely like it?
Or like, are you trying to get a raise? Are you trying to get a job
Yeah.
promotion? Are you learning to sail? Are you like, what
Yeah.
are you doing with this one precious life you have.
Yeah, because I'm super impatient. I think you are too. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for you.
My parents used to say I was.
I'm super impatient. Like, patience is not my virtue.
I probably
is
am.
what I always say. Like,
I said patience is a virtue. I am well known to not be a virtuous man.
Yeah, I don't
That's
have
what
it.
makes Dave so much fun.
Yeah, no, I don't have it. I can't. I'm like, why? Why aren't we doing this yesterday? Like, I'm just not a patient person. So if you're somebody who's like, I'm just ghosting through life, I'm like, get out of my way, or I
Yes.
will run you down. Like, get
out.
Get out.
Beat it, hippie.
Exactly.
Okay, so let me run through a bunch of these other red flags. If you go out to eat or go get a drink and they're rude to the wait staff,
Oh yes,
not okay.
definitely.
Not okay. If they don't respect your boundaries. So I dated a guy who I kept saying to him, I was like, I think this is moving a little bit fast.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a few days to collect myself.
Yeah.
And I told him that. And the very next day he contacted me and I'm like, no, you do not. No, this is not what I asked you to do. And you're pushing me and I don't like it.
It shows that he doesn't know how to listen.
He
Like, if
doesn't
you
know how to
can't
listen. He's not respecting boundaries.
Exactly.
Wanting to see me all the time from the get-go.
Nope.
No,
No.
I can't.
away
Nobody needs
No.
saran wrap in their life. Nobody.
Yeah. Well, it's just, and also, so I did that once, right? I did date somebody who, like, we were with each other all the time, and somebody who I'd worked with, so it kind of like, I saw them at work, and then it subsided. You know what I mean? Like, it was those first
Yeah.
honeymoon months, and then it kind of subsided. And so in my head, it was like, well, do you not want to see me
Yeah, something's
anymore?
wrong.
Like, something's wrong. Which, like, hindsight, again, like, looking back, like, no, we shouldn't have done that. And then it made the expectation too high and
Right.
weird, and yeah.
Just take it easy.
Yeah, just
I like
ease
to see
into
someone
that.
a couple times a week.
Okay.
I think
yeah,
one time a week is not enough to build momentum.
that's true.
And I think more than 3 times would just be way too much.
Yeah. No, I like those
Like, I
numbers.
need my time.
Yeah.
I don't know. What about you
I
guys?
feel like a day off.
Just a day
just
off.
to ponder. Like, well, because you 3 times a week, so that's about a day off in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can,
I need like a
think-
between a day and 2.
yeah, because
Yeah.
how that just digest. Figure
So
out-
Dave, you would be like a 3 times a week, 4 times a week guy.
that no, I made like maybe twice.
Really?
Like especially early on, because
Yeah.
number one, you don't want to be pushy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And number 2, you don't want to oversaturate.
Right.
You don't want to be
Take your time.
yeah.
Like, it's an
Yeah.
exploration.
Don't burn out too fast.
Exactly. What about you?
Yeah.
Well, you just move in with them.
I just move in with them.
Okay, right.
No, I unfortunately that's not completely inaccurate. But I don't know. I think it's healthy to, like, miss them a little bit, right? It's good for them to
Yes.
not to be there, because then you might like, oh, I miss them. Oh, I must actually like them, or like, oh, thank God they're gone.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's a sign too.
Yeah,
Have
that's
time
also
to
a problem.
be aware.
Guys that are too private.
Yes,
That is,
Oh,
it's weird. It's like trying.
like the air of mystery.
no.
Well,
Stop.
not
Just tell me who you are. Like, who are you? What are you doing? Stop being weird. Like,
yeah,
this is
I mean, I like to learn about someone over time. Like, I don't want to learn about the foot fetish or the fart fetish
yeah.
on the first date.
No. definitely not.
But please God, no. But don't want to have to wonder, like, what are you doing with, like,
Yeah, well,
what's going on with you? Why aren't you telling me about your life?
yeah, I feel like, okay, do you have it? Like, my head goes to this place. I don't know what this is about me, but do you have a secret family? Like, what? What are you?
Wow.
Like, where?
I
are
do
you
not
going?
go there. That's interesting.
And maybe it's, again, because, yeah, I know people that's happened to. Maybe that's where it goes.
Really?
But, like, yeah, maybe you have, like, a secret family. Maybe you, like, aren't really into me. Like, and I'm not saying, like, call me and tell me what you ate for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Like, it doesn't need to be that intrusive. But just, like, yeah, today I was at work. Something happened. Okay, cool. Like, that's an anecdote about your life. You're a person. That's
Right.
neat. But if you don't have any and you're just like, no, I'm just busy. Don't worry about it. Like, whoa, what is that?
Yeah, what are
Like,
you-
I don't.
How would I
that's
get to
weird.
know you
Yeah, I
or
don't know.
build trust if I have no idea what's going on with you?
Yeah,
Cannot apologize. I dated a dude like that. Drove me up a fucking wall.
cannot apologize.
Yes, would not apologize.
Ooh,
Like, would be
yeah.
a real dick and would not apologize. That happened twice.
gross.
And
No.
on the second time, I was like, nope, done. Goodbye. Can't laugh at himself. Like, people who
Yeah.
take themselves really seriously.
It's exhausting.
It is. And
it's-
then
Well,
you're.
how are we not married?
Dave, you have
Olive,
to ask
you
me
guys-
out first.
I've spent like all these episodes listening to you describe your perfect guy, and I'm like, check.
They're both nervously laughing. Just gonna point it out. Just gonna fly on the wall for you guys.
Well, maybe we could go out for a drink after this.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting story about
Where
the
guy ghosting me is right now.
Yeah, ghosting is. Just a little side note. Like ghosting is just it's inhumane.
It is totally horrible.
I know it's not the focus of the episode, but I just don't get why it's still like we all hate it. It's all happened to you in some form or another. We all feel like garbage when it happens to us. So why does it keep happening?
Because we've trained an entire generation that it's okay to not have the uncomfortable conversation because that's exactly what it is.
Gross.
Yeah.
Own your shit, guys.
Yeah.
Women
And
anyone,
everyone. Yeah.
human people, please own your shit.
And it's actually, I've noticed, because I talk a lot with my friends and on the show and all this about ghosting, because it is so painful.
It's like
especially
crippling
not when
feeling,
it's
like,
not, okay, yeah, that sucks. Like after a first date, maybe just,
yeah.
I do tell people all the time, like, hey, I don't want to see you again. But I say, like, it was really nice to meet you. I wish you well. I don't feel the connection. I hope good luck with your dating. And then it's just like, okay, done.
Yep.
But
I wish you all the best with all your future endeavors.
Yes.
yeah, listen to this sound clip of me to masturbate to when you want to get off. Dave's packaged it up.
Here's a USB drive with all the highlights that you'll need later this evening.
Just keep it for
60
yourself.
seconds of pure pornographic dirty talk. Just enjoy it. I could make some money doing that.
You
actually.
definitely
Totally
could.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I might need to.
Well, all right. There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Another idea.
1-900-L-Khalil.
Right,
It's
exactly.
1-900-L-Khalil.
Yeah. No,
It's just a recording of me.
I would totally be into
Load in me.
I used to when I used to do radio. I'd
Deeper.
always talk a little bit deeper. I'd be like,
Do you remember
"Hello."
Delilah?
Yeah, like that. Like, hi, hello. I used to host a show was called The Basement. I was like, you're down in the basement with Amanda. It was like this breathy, and I had no,
Dave's
I had
face
no
right
idea I was doing it.
That's why he asked you what your kinks were.
Yeah, because I talk on the phone
Down
just
in the
like
basement
this.
with Amanda.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't know that was a sign.
Okay, Amanda, you got to give us any parting thoughts. Believe it or not, our hour
No way.
of extemporaneous discussion and occasional red flag talk is
Occasional. Yeah.
over.
Tangents.
And do you have any parting thoughts for us?
Yeah.
Any advice for our listeners?
Advice for listeners? Just you know who you are. I had someone recently, a friend, say to me, we were talking about dating. They were dating my dating. I won't say who it was about or which side it was, but it was like, you know who you are. Like, you know what you want. So walking around being like, I don't know, maybe this will work out. Like, no, you're really good at being you.
Mm-hmm.
So just be that person and
Just be you.
Be who you are, and take it or leave it. We're getting, time is of the essence. It's going by fast. Every year I get older, I feel like it goes faster, and everybody, my dad included, tells me that's normal. And I just say, like, don't waste it. Just do what you want to do. Be who you want to be around, and don't make excuses of, oh well, I'm just uncomfortable for now. Like, you're uncomfortable for now. What if you die tomorrow? Like, come on, that's a horrible idea. Just if you see a red flag, whatever it is for you, because everybody's are different, just
Listen to it.
If you have a gut feeling, probably you should acknowledge it, and just get out there and keep trying stuff. And
Dave, do you have anything?
Actually, so the whole Chloe Dykstra, Chris Hardwick thing.
I have no idea what that is.
I literally read this morning.
So,
this
really,
is so
Oh, this is
weird.
ages ago. So Chloe actually had a very phenomenal. One of the things she said is, if you're wearing rose-colored glasses, all the flags look red, and so you ignore them.
Got
Oh
it.
shit.
Got it. Oh,
That is
man.
good.
So
like
I mean,
that.
that's, dude, take your blinders off, see
God,
shit for
Dave,
what it
that's
is.
So good.
Yeah.
And to your point, like, no, and the other thing is, and this is something I've struggled with over the years. If it's red flag number one, react like it's red flag number one, just because
Yes.
you've been down that road before,
Right.
And you know what flags 2 through 20 are. Don't act like it's red flag number 20.
Right.
It's just red flag number one.
Because it's a different person.
Yeah.
But we've had we're dumb. We've had this talk. We're not that smart. At the end of the day, we're functionally stilted, and it's a thing. We do dumb things. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, my advice is to be yourself And what I told, what we learned from our guest on the last episode, which I have co-opted, which is to date like you are a mother with a child.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and date like your dating matters because you don't have time to waste because you have a kid to take care of.
Yeah.
And I love that idea of dating in that way, because married mom or single moms don't waste their fucking time.
Yeah. And you also, like, you're protecting another person. Hey, guess what? Protect yourself. Like,
Right.
you know, single moms
Right.
are very, oh, I got to look out for my kids. Look out for
Right.
you. Like, no one else is going to. Come on.
Exactly.
I mean, that's a real thing. And I just wanted to say, also, I always think about dating is like buying a house, right? You know that you want a washer and dryer. You know that you like a basement or you don't. Like, you know all those things. And so it's almost like
I like a basement.
there you go. There you go. So that's on your list. So what do you like about guys? That's a list too. Like,
Yeah, get clear.
get on it.
All right, thanks, guys. This is another episode of Sexistential Crisis. If you loved this episode, go give us 5 stars and jump onto iTunes to do that. You can also find us on Facebook at Sexistential Crisis, where you can message me, like our page, and interact with us. Until next time.